The Apple River stabbing incident, horrific, tragic incident, actually happened in 2022 in Wisconsin. Was just finally resolved with the conviction of Mr. Miu a couple weeks ago, April 2024. There are some YouTube channels that do a phenomenal job of discussing the case, the evidence, how the trial played out, and so on. Dr. Todd Grande, Grande, Todd Grande, Christina Randall, Christina with the C. I came upon her commentary on it. Great job, Christina Randall. And then another guy, his channel is called Reporting Live from My Sofa. Great job. I have a link to their YouTube channels down below. I just want to talk about the conflict de-escalation basics, techniques, and tactics that would have greatly avoided and mitigated this situation from becoming the deadly confrontation that it ended up being. So let's jump right into it. Groups of people out there water tubing. One individual, the man, Mr. Miu, finds himself encountering a group of loud, rowdy, drunk teenagers. When you find yourself approaching a group of people, whatever age, and they're loud and they're rowdy, okay, slow down and assess the situation. Is there a higher probability, possibility, and chance that this could become an out of control mob? Yes. Does it mean that every group of people who are drunk and loud and having a good time can become an out of control, dangerous, violent mob? No. But again, is there a higher probability and possibility that it could? Yes. So this is basic risk assessment 101. Slow down, assess the situation. Loud, rude, drunk, rowdy kids probably could possibly end up being just an uncomfortable interaction. Do not about face, walk away, avoid contact, avoid interaction. Boom. Do not, once you start walking away, stop for any reason and turn around and make a comment, point fingers, or do anything like that, which unfortunately Mr. Miu did.
Get away from us!
What?
Dude, what are you doing?
What's going on with y'all homie? He's on camera.
Guys, let's
Tripping.
go.
He's on 4K. Yo, the new iPhone got that good quality. What do you say? Yeah, what the hell? Who is this? Yes!
And what did the kids do? You can see by their own video that they approach him and end up surrounding him. And now he's got himself in a pickle. All right. In a situation like that, again, once you decide that you're going to walk away, keep walking. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Just keep going. Unfortunately, he stops long enough for them to get close enough to him. And you can watch by the video, it took him a few moments to approach and close the distance on him. Back to you. You find yourself now interacting and intermingled with a group of people who are loud, rude, obnoxious, and they're focusing their obnoxious behavior on you. Again, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to engage, but you sure as heck can make every effort to just get away. Walk away. When you watch the video of the kids' video of their interaction, you see that Mr. Miu at no point ever says anything threatening. He never acts threatening. He just blah. Appears to be very, very zoned out. And what finally triggered when they interviewed the four survivors, the teenagers, the four survivors, when they interviewed them as to what finally made them decide to attack Mr. Miu, because they admit they attacked him, but it's because he struck. That's the word they use. He struck their friend first. Now, this shot, this photo right here shows their friend. She's up in his face waving a cell phone. Do you not think that at some point, Mr. Miu or you or I, because I know I will be the first to attest that I would probably do this. Would you not at some point swat away someone's hand that someone's in your face? And if you swat and you make contact with their hand or any part of their body or whatever, have you not technically struck them? Yes, you have. And so once Mr. Miu swatted her hand to swat the phone out of his face, these kids had the excuse they were looking for to take their aggression and hostility and obnoxiousness to the next level, and they physically attacked him. In a situation like this, The kids could have handled situations very, very differently. They could have simply been nice and just left people alone. They could have also walked away. At the point where Mr. Mio is seen on their own video walking away, they could have gone the other way. But instead, by their own video, they approached him, surrounded him, continued getting in his face. As a police officer, I've taken many calls from people who felt an uncomfortableness from somebody. They would leave the scene and call the police. If this guy was such a source of stress to them because they said he was weird and creepy is the word they were used. If he was so creepy, why are we not disengaging to get away from him? They didn't do that. So they could have also done a lot of things differently. The victim, a 17-year-old boy, his blood alcohol level was 0.219, 3 times the legal limit in Wisconsin for a legal adult who's legally allowed to be drinking and consuming alcohol. All the kids also admitted they were smoking marijuana. His blood alcohol level was 0.219, and in court, they testified that he was considered the most sober of them all. Folks, right off the bat, they're admitting they were a loud, rowdy, highly intoxicated bunch of teenagers out having a good time. It is a scientifically proven, measurable fact that alcohol and drug use will affect someone's perception of time, someone's perception of reality, their perception of speed, and their testimony should have been received with a handful of salt and skepticism. However, Mr. Mio was convicted of murder. Let's summarize. Slow down, assess the situation. Is there a higher propensity and possibility that a group of loud, rowdy, drunk people can become a loud, rowdy, aggressive, hostile group? Yes. Do they all drunk groups become dangerous? No. But is there a higher probability? Again, risk assessment 101. Yeah, I'm just going to avoid these people, do an about face, walk away. Don't risk life or limb over property that is probably covered by insurance or can be replaced affordably. Walk away. If you find yourself suddenly the focus of a angry, hostile, confrontational group, run faster. Get away from them. You don't have to engage. You don't have to pause to turn around to say anything or do anything. Just get away from them. Group of people, if you sense and feel someone who's creepy and they're approaching you, walk away. Again, the common denominator that both groups could have used in exercise was just walk away in opposite directions. Walk away, wade away, swim away. They could have avoided each other. These drunk teenagers simply could have just been nice to other people instead of name calling and going about the way they handled the situation. Be nice, walk away. Situation absolutely could have been mitigated and absolutely could have been avoided. Let me add this final comment also. Talk about Mr. Mio's behavior and comments with the arresting police officers and law enforcement on scene. In the 20 years I was a police officer, I worked nights, road patrol, pretty much my entire career. My specialty, and I dealt with a lot of them, was drunk drivers. His behavior and his comments, his affect, the way he carried himself, that bland, oblivious of all the commotion around him on the river, and then with the officers, very consistent with someone who's also heavily intoxicated, under the influence.
See that fight on the river?
I heard about it.
You heard about it?
Yeah, and I seen people gather around it.
Okay. All right.
And I went over to talk to see if somebody saw anything, but that's about it.
Okay.
Our whole group was pretty interested in finding out what happened.
Okay. And that's your whole group over there?
Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
I don't know. Okay, well,
Did you see anybody injured?
no.
You didn't see anybody injured?
No.
Did you see anybody fighting?
I heard people screaming at each other, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Screaming in anger or screaming in pain, do you know?
Everybody's drunk, so I don't know. I can't tell the difference, but I would say
There's a lot of people who think, excuse me, there's a lot of people who think that a drunk person has to be loud, rude, obnoxious like these teenagers were. You probably know that's not true. There are a lot of people, and I have a family member who was one of these types of drunks. When they get to a certain level of alcohol, they suddenly become withdrawn. They're very quiet, a perpetual smile on their face, and they're very friendly and very low key. That's one way alcohol affects people. It's not always loud, rude, obnoxious, and attention getting, and so on. And so, Mr. Mew's behavior, his affect, the way he carried himself, his comments with the responding law enforcement officers, very consistent with someone who's also drunk. I've had people, drunk drivers in my car, who just got done plowing into a number of parked cars, and they'll sit there in the back of my car, literally oblivious and just totally disconnected, and yet almost seem very sober. Their speech is not slurred. Um, their mannerisms and so on, without the exception of the fact that they plowed into these cars and the some odor of alcoholic drinks and stuff like that, there would be nothing about them that would make you think, oh, that's a drunk person. Alcohol affects people differently, but scientifically proven and measurable is the fact that alcohol will affect people's perception, their rationality, their ability to process and think through things, and so on. And this situation absolutely could have been mitigated and avoided if people had been able to think things through and just walked away. See you on the next video.